Are you and your organization okay with elected officials giving out false information as freedom of speech?
Elected officials giving out information is false. What are you talking about?
False information.
Which elected official are we talking
Just
about?
any elected official, remember? Or
So, I don't know what you mean by are we okay with this? I think you might be asking me a question. If an elected official says something in a speech, maybe on a stump speech, that somebody believes may be false, does that elected official have a free speech right under the First Amendment?
yeah.
Well, yes. In a word, there are, the United States Constitution does not have an exception for mistaken statements. It does not have an exception even for lies. That is the case. It is the price that we pay for a free society, that sometimes there's information that goes out that, with the omniscience of knowing what exactly is true and what is false, you might say that's false. This points up a real problem with this kind of question, though, I think, is that you are presupposing in this question that you know what is true and what is false. And you're putting yourself in a position as a government official deciding what that might be, especially in the context of something said by a politician, a representative of the people. That's extremely dangerous, and it's also often mistaken. So, and not only are you putting yourself in the position of somebody who knows what's true and what's false, you would be putting yourself in the position of saying, we can't trust the American people to take the evidence before them. We can't, rather than like countering what I believe is a false statement with what I believe is a true statement, and trusting the American public to figure out for themselves what the answer is, we should censor that. So I'm worried that that's the direction that you're headed with that question. So you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Just because, so I sit on the elections committee, and this year there was a number of bills that have been introduced based on misinformation. And I'll give you an example. One of the bills was that they wanted to put on a ballot that a disclaimer that said that if you turn your ballot in the Friday before election day, it could result in a delayed election, which is completely, it could, which is very flexible, but it has not happened in the state of Arizona. In the state of Arizona, the reason why we had a delayed election was because counties did not certify elections. And there was some Republican colleagues of mine who thought that that was true, that that's why we had delayed elections. And there still are people out in the public that believe that. And so I think that's where I think free speech gets very dangerous. So we actually
Mr. Aguilar, there's a question here somewhere.
yeah, do you have any response to that?
I wonder is it correct?
I'm not hearing you describe a situation where there's something that's clearly true or clearly false, and this is exactly the context in which it is dangerous to say, as I believe you just did, that free speech can be dangerous. Wiser people than me have talked about the principles of free speech in democratic societies for a long period of time. There are prices that are paid for a society that's open and has free speech. Things aren't as efficient as they would be if we had a dictator telling us what was true and what was false. But we pay that price because we consider it extremely important for people to be able to participate in the debate and also not to march down the path of error. Again, like, it may be 100% clear to you that what was proposed in this law was false. I admit that I don't really know what you're talking about. I have no background on this, but just from what you've said, it sounds to me that there may be some debatable points here. So there's really not a loss even at all of allowing free speech in this case. If there's a debate to be had, let's have the debate. Let's not shut the debate up.